Welcome to Straight from the Mouth, folks, where we are anything but straight. My name is Space,
And I'm Star.
and we welcome you to our episode, which is about what today?
Fandoms within the furry fandom, or ones that kind of correlate to each other.
What's a fandom per se? If you couldn't look it up online, what would you say a fandom is?
A bunch of people that would get together on like a same topic that they all enjoy.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what a
Pretty
fandom
much.
is.
Pretty much.
We picked 4 fandoms to go over. There's a buttload out there, but we figured the 4 major ones would be. I wouldn't say they're the major ones. They're kind of like some of them are the major ones, but some of them are the ones that most people who are listening to this show would understand. So those would be cosplay, which is the combination of anime and Comic Con kind of together. Bronies, you had Sonic and his Warrior Cats.
Mm-hmm. That's a book series.
Warrior Cats, and we kind of have like a history, like what it's based on, how did it start, how big is the community, conventions, blah blah blah. So we'll kind of go over that. Each little bit of the fandom has their own statistics. Interesting to can't say it. Damn it. Statistics.
There you go.
Statistics. God.
I had
Hard word. Hard word. Man. And believe it or not, like when I was researching, because I thought I knew bronies, because I mean it's the furry fandom also is made up of bronies, like a lot of them. So I figured I know a lot about the bronies. So I didn't know a lot until I actually researched it, and I'm actually quite shocked at what I learned. It's really interesting, but we'll go into that later. Let's start with Warrior Cats, since you're the biggest fan of that one.
Oh, I am by far not the biggest fan, I'll tell you that. It's actually a book series that I discovered when I was in middle school. So it's been around for a while. So it kind of came out, like the first books, they came out around 2003 or 2004. So like eons ago. And it is a book series based on these clans of cats. All the clans have different names, and they also have like a warrior, like what's called a warrior code. They have like their own religion, and it's really actually quite intricate and like unique. Now I will say my sister is a huge fan. Like she's 17 and still doesn't shut up about these books and these characters. Like she'll come up to me like, "Oh my god, I found this artist to look at this," and I'm like, I don't remember what that cat is at all. It's been so long, but it is really good. So like I said, the original books came out in 2003, and later 2004. The series, like itself, is quite extensive and continues to be a thing. Like it's like books are constantly coming out. Coming out. And like they have
Are they by like the same author, or are they like inspired authors?
They actually are by the same author. I actually, you know what? I'll mention her. I'll mention her first because actually, the author is Erin Hunter, but Erin Hunter is more than one person, which is why they can produce so many books so quickly. So it's actually quite a few ladies like working on.
So it's
just
like,
under
it's like ghostwriting almost.
Yeah, that's kind of like it's like their alias name. So Erin Hunter, they go by one name. Yeah, it's really neat. But each book series has 6 books, like in their series. So I don't remember. I think there's at least 6 or 7, like series chunks.
How many books are there? And it says 6, and then there's 6 within those 6.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's 6 within those 6. There's also like,
wow.
Yeah, there's also like comics and, well, I guess mangas, and there's also like guidebooks, and there's like yeah, there's a lot. And like it's really neat because some of them like will be in between series books, so sometimes you'll have to read that big chunk book before you go on to the next series. But it's really cool. It's something that I remember from my childhood, and I'm kind of glad my sister still reads them. I should get back into them, but they're really neat. But
I used to read. I don't anymore.
Used to read.
I should. I really should.
Read. I used to read all the time. Like there was not even a single second that I did not have a book in my hand. I always had books with me, and I would read just nonstop. That's all I did. I will say there was one time I was actually grounded for reading too much. So
Wow.
it was terrible, but that's okay. I will say the community is actually quite large. It's weird to say that because it is large, but it's almost like in a hidden sense because it's either you know about it and you've read it, or you've only like heard about it. So but yeah, a lot of people, they tend to be like younger, like I'm gonna say like around like ages, I'm gonna say like 10 to like maybe like 13 or 14 is like the big chunk of the whole fandom there.
Wow.
Just because the books do kind of gear more towards that kind
Younger
of,
audiences.
yeah, younger audience. Although I will say some of the material in that is kind of graphic. Like you got cats that are like fighting and ripping each other's guts out, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's really interesting. Let's see. As for like,
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of fan art. Like if you look up warrior cats, like you're gonna find a whole bunch of fan art and like fan made videos on YouTube. They're everywhere. I know this because my sister is coming up to me at least 10 times a day to show me a new one. So she has she I do love them. I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm like, I don't remember these, but I need to reread them. But they're really good. And I do like that, like on my Twitter, I will sift through it, like I'm going through my timeline and I'll see like just like artwork and like videos. I'm like, oh, this is neat. And I'm like, oh, I remember that Warrior Cats is a thing. I need to return to it. So let's see. Like I said, the age range.
Pretty
Um,
young.
pretty young. The age range. I think like some of them are like the exception. I like I said, like around like 12 to like 13, 14, like maybe. But then they can extend to a little bit,
I
older.
think
Like my
books that I read when I was younger were like the Boxcar Children, the Hardy Boys,
oh, I remember those.
um, Little House on the Prairie.
Oh,
Those
I
ones I
like Little
really
House.
love the Little House on the Prairie videos or
Those are
books.
really
Those are
good.
good. Yeah, they really are.
I liked Goosebumps
Um,
as a kid.
yeah, I read a lot of Goosebumps. There was a lot of I can't remember who it is, but there is this book of like really creepy poems and stories in it. And
Oh,
it was
what
like
was that?
medium-sized book. It was black and it had like white writing, but it was all creepy looking. Let me see if I can
Oh
pull
my
that
god,
up.
what I feel like I know.
Ah, it's
Because
gonna
like I
drive me
said, I used
nuts
to
now.
read books a lot, so I don't know.
Creepy
Um,
stories book. I mean, that's gonna pull up a boatload of crap. Oh no, it is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
oh, I
Yeah,
knew
that's
that's
what it's
what it was
called
called. It just
by
I know what
Alvin
it's from.
Schwartz. Those were cool. Those are like the coolest ever. But they're
Those were
creepy though. I
fun.
mean, but that's I kind of grew up with those kind of books.
Mhm.
Goosebumps, a lot of Goosebumps for sure.
I grew up with a lot of
And then I
Goosebumps.
when I got older, read a little bit more of like Dan Brown books, so like Da Vinci Code. Um, I pretty much read all of those books. Each of those books took me about a day or two to read. It was very quick because I was like
Mhm.
so sucked into it. It was amazing. And then I stopped after that. I don't know why.
Oh no. I read I've read so
The
many.
Bible.
No.
That's a boring ass book, man.
I was too quick to answer that. No. Oh my god.
I wish there was like a
You read the Bible?
summarized
No.
version of the Bible and it was like somewhat like easy to read, but there isn't. There's just like the Bible is like punishment. it's it's what's given to you when you're in punishment time to read.
Oh, no, I was no. I mean like I grew up in like a Christian family and like I just never like I have a Bible. It's in my room here somewhere. I just never touch it. I just have it in
I have
case
the
the
Book of
demons want to come
Mormon.
in. Then I'll just
I have
throw
the
the
Book of Mormon and then I have
oh.
the Old Testament and the New Testament Bible. I don't use them. I never have. I draw on
I
them.
oh, you drawing them?
Yeah.
Oh no. That's awful. Oh no.
Well, it's just paper. It's
It's
just
fine.
super ridiculously thin paper.
It
That's
is
all.
so thin.
You can't even like I don't even understand how they get it that thin. And why is it that thin?
Um,
Probably
I'm
because the
trying to
book would
think
be
of something
freaking
clever,
fast.
but kind of stupid, but I can't think of anything. Oh, it is very thin. Like my sanity.
Are there any conventions dedicated to warrior cats?
I will say I didn't find any conventions related to warrior cats. However, there are like several like fan like panels at conventions. So I didn't really find like a convention that was solely dedicated to like the books itself. Um but I did find out that I guess Anthrocon in 2019 and I think in a couple other years too, they had panels where it was just like, they a bunch of people that loved the warrior cats. Um I know a lot of people that are part of the Warrior Cats fandom, they'll make like their own Warrior Cats like OC and they'll choose a name for themselves. And the name system is really cool. I will mention this. It's really cool. So say you have like a kitten. The kitten's name, like, let me give you a good example here. So, uh, pick a color.
Blue.
Blue. Okay, so that kitten would be Blue Kit.
Oh,
That's the first,
cool.
yeah, so that's the first part of their name. And then when they become, I think it's 6 moons or 6 months of age, then they become what is an apprentice. So they will either choose to become a warrior for their clan, or they'll choose to become a medicine cat, which is just a doctor. The cats have doctor. It's really cool. Like they're all just feral cats. Like they're not like anthro like standing up or whatever. Like they're all just feral cats, but they have their own little system of things. But they become an apprentice, and when you become an apprentice, your last chunk of your name becomes paw. So you'd be Blue Paw. And then when you become
Oh,
whenever you become like when you are deemed worthy to become a warrior, or a medicine cat, usually like around when you reach like adulthood in like cat lifetime. That's when the leader of the said clan will appoint you at like the last chunk of your name, and like it'll be something, I don't know, it'll be something cool or whatever the heck they choose. So you could be Blue Leaf, you could be Blue, I don't know.
scissor hands.
Sure. Not really, not Blue Scissorhands, but you kind of get the idea. Like it'll be blue something. Um
Razor blade.
Razor
That would be
Blade.
cool.
You just be, my name is Razor Kit, and then
Or
Razor
blue
Puff,
razor. Because, I mean,
Blue Ray. I mean, maybe
grass
I don't.
grass has razors in them.
Maybe it could be blue. I will say, if you do reach the status of leader, you do achieve the name, like the last chunk of your name as star. So it'd be Blue Star. But you have to go to a sacred area. So you travel with like the medicine cats of all four clans, and you go get your 9 lives, and then you actually spiritually get 9 lives from the like the cat heavens, which is Star Clan. So it's kind of cool. Like there's a whole system of things that it's really neat.
What if they have like multiple people that need to become warriors? Do they just do it one person at a time, or they just go as a group as one?
Um. So okay. So
I
so
mean,
like
there's a
as
lot of cats out there.
oh yes, like and these are like clans of cats. So um if you have like a multiple set of like apprentices that become warriors, what they'll do is, regardless if it's one warrior or like say 2 or 3, they will actually call like what's called a clan meeting, and that clan will meet in like the center of like their little den, their hideout, wherever the heck that they are, and they will ceremonially appoint them, hey, you are now like Blue Leaf or whatever the heck, warrior, whatever. So that's it really. I will say every full moon, all of the warrior cats, like all the clans, they get together in like a moment of like peace. Every full moon, they gather at like this one specific spot. So like in the original series, it was called Four Trees, and they were just in the middle of the forest, just four giant trees. And they would all meet in that one spot. There was no fighting, like nothing was supposed to happen during that night. So
Cool.
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So
Like I said, it's
initially,
really in depth.
the four clans do fight each other in general.
They generally they do, like if they cross in like to their, their territory or whatever, or if they, hunt on their lands, or if they have some sort of dispute or whatever, then yeah, they do fight. So like the full moon is like that one night that nobody's allowed to do anything. So it's a really interesting series. Now I need to go and steal one of my books back from my sister in her
You should
room and
make it
just
into
start reading
you
it.
should make it into like a television series.
I think they were trying to make it into either like a television series or like a movie or something, but I don't think it's just not kicking off the ground, and I wish that it would, because I would watch the hell out of that. Like,
Maybe they should make like a web comic out of it then at least, or like a web
yeah.
series. Because I mean, if make little webisodes, that should work.
I know that like a bunch of fans like in that are really heavily like art and like animation articulated, they will, I know that they've made like their own versions of like like a TV show or whatever,
Hmm,
like webisodes or whatever. But yeah,
that's cool.
like I said, they
So
have mangas too, so that kind of correlates with the comic thing. But yeah,
that's Warrior Cats.
so that's Warrior Cats.
um, we'll go into Bronies.
Yes.
Bronies friendship is magic. That's what we're talking about. Is the friendship is magic. There are, I think, other groups of regular My Little Pony fans, but that's like
Those
what
are, I
back
think
in
those are
like
few and far between.
yeah, really, really far in between. So, um, the fandom itself is based on the animated television series produced by Hasbro as part of the My Little Pony franchise, and they called it the Friendship is Magic. Um, and while the show was geared towards a younger audience, started in 2010, a much larger group of fans started to grow it with like adults mainly in the late 2010 2011, which eventually led to a subculture known as the Brony fandom, which is a bro pony. They have girls in there too. They're called Pegasisters, but it's not as big
Gross.
as the Bronies are. I know.
I never associated with that because I was really big into My Little Pony in high school, and I was like, ew, I don't want to be a Pegasus. I'm like, man, I'm a brony. Like, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
Brony sounds cooler.
It does.
Well, and
I
God, it's
mean,
so. I'm
I
sorry.
could I
It's
could peg a
so.
sister. I mean, that is possible.
Wow. um, let's just put this out on there because everyone knows one of the most sensitive fandoms out there is the Brony fandom, and it is so easy to troll them.
It is.
I I used to when I first got into the fandom. I don't anymore.
Oh no.
But like I would go into like a Facebook group and I would drop like, "Does anyone know who Princess Molestia is? Everyone keeps
Oh
talking
my
about her."
god. I
And
remember those videos. I
it just
watched them religiously because they were
uproar. It
so
was
funny.
so it was just like just stupid things like that. And they get so offended. It is so easy to get them riled up, and then you kind of just like sit back and you watch all the comments just like pile on top of each other, and it's just
Yep.
it's so good. And I would just do that every once in a while. I'd just do like a brony attack, like once a quarter.
God.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
was the bad boy.
Oh my
um,
god. I just remembered my art teacher in high school because like I said, I was really into it in high school. And so, like, that was half of my art projects. They were just My Little Pony related. And
oh my god.
I did one where we had to like take images from a magazine and put it onto like a piece of paper and then like make it into like an art piece. But like
Yeah, I've seen those.
I included Discord into it and made it really cool. I still have the painting that I did. It's in
I want
the
to see it.
garage somewhere. Oh, I gotta pull it out and show it to you sometime. But
Yeah, that would
I
be
loved
great.
it, and she was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's Discord. He's a Draconequus." I'm like, "He's made up of this animal, this one." I'm like, He's the god of chaos or whatever." She just looked at me. She's like, "Okay." I
I
think
thought
she gave me like a
I thought art
C.
was weird. No,
I know.
God, whatever.
I'm
She
so
doesn't know
sorry.
art.
Right. Go, sorry, go ahead. I just had to put that
Tho-
in there.
Those who aren't successful in life go to teach. Despite Bean, I thought it was actually me because Bean's a teacher, but Bean
Oh
that's different. That's
no.
different. She didn't make it in the art business, so then she became an art teacher, right?
Oh no, that's poor
um,
Pete. Don't listen to him. Don't
don't
listen to this
listen.
episode.
I'm just gonna be like, don't listen to this episode. It was bad. It was
What?
really
Why?
bad. Um, so it was initially thought that the Brony community was more of a joke than the show itself, which was intended for girls, younger girls, really. However, the fandom actually has much deeper roots than the naked eye would once, saw. So the fandom itself isn't just a fan club. So it's an appreciation for the people who created the franchise or created the series, and as well as the morals that go into it, morals, characters, stories, life experiences, etc., that were brought to life for all to see. That is what kind of created this fandom, because as furries we find identity in our own characters, but then also with people that we recognize and we we become friends with. And that's kind of like the same case in the Brony fandom, as they started to recognize experiences or feelings towards an episode. And I'm not going to lie, I've watched an episode where I felt like, touched my heart a little bit because it got a little personal. And I think that was geared towards the generation that it was gearing towards, but it actually had a much broader spectrum than they were expecting.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so it it's a pretty big fandom, and I think, yeah, if Brony fandom in general wasn't created, the show wouldn't be as popular as it was now.
It definitely would not have been.
There's there's so much art and there's hundreds of conventions out there. A lot of the conventions work with the creators of the actual show and the voice actors. I mean, it's like a true legit like working convention and everything. So if the Bronies didn't actually become a thing, that show would probably just be another show that's on, let's say, like PBS or whatever.
hmm I went to a
So,
My Little Pony convention one year.
how was that?
I'm gonna let you know, like, it was an interesting mix of people. Like, you had people that were super young and had like, their parents with them or whatever, and then you had people that were far into like their 30s and 40s. Like,
Wow.
it had like a whole mix of people. But I'm gonna tell you what, they were the nicest people I think I've ever met, like in a convention. I mean, everybody was just super nice. I even had two little girls, like they were like sitting um like in the middle of like the convention like hallways and whatever. They were just sitting there and they were drawing characters, like your favorite characters from the show, for free. And I'm gonna tell you what, I came up and I was like, man, at the time I was really big into Fluttershy. And I was like, man, I would love a Fluttershy. And they were like, okay. And then they're like, come back in like an hour or so. I'm like, okay. And I did. I came back in like an hour and they're like, here you go. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was really well done. Like, I was
Wow.
shocked. These kids were like 8 or 10, like anywhere like 8 or 10 or something. They had that. I have to find that too. It's in like I have a whole collection of My Little Pony stuff just in the
So does
garage.
Felix has a whole collection of My Little Pony stuff. I'm not like,
Oh,
I think like art wise, and he loves the show and stuff, but I haven't
mhm.
seen him watch the show recently. Probably because you're right, because it
I
did end. It ended a while ago.
It did. I haven't. I think I stopped in season 5. I think. I know there's. I think there's. I don't know.
How big is the community? Well, let's just say it's huge, like in all
Huge.
capital letters. At least at the beginning, it
Just put
was
Donald Trump. Huge.
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 um, there was a conducted herd census done in the United States that suggests that as of 2012, and this is just in the United States alone, not the rest of the world, there were about to be suggested of 7 to 12.4 million people who identified as a brony.
That's a
That's a
lot of people.
that's a lot of people. So, and I think it's because the show is so popularized. It's not like furry fandom, because furries don't have their own show. They don't have their own content, really. I mean, it's anything really out there, but no one's going to go to the
hmm
store and be like, furries. They're going to be like, oh, bronies instead. So
Yeah.
I can see why the number is so high, but wow, that is such a big number. However, as the show started to end, so did the growing numbers of the fandom. So it's a little sad because to this day the brand like Brony fandom is still around and it still has new members discovering its beauty and it's still blossoming in the community, but it's not as big as
Mhm.
it used to be. I'd say it's a lot smaller than seven. I'd say it's like maybe a couple 100,000 in the United States now. Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe it could be up in the million, but as the show came to an end, they have like what else they have to really live for. That
Right.
was the whole thing was the show, and so I mean, there's like, there's tons of like inspired, episodes that people have made
Mhm.
themselves, which are fun, but it's not as fun as knowing that an episode's going to come out. And you said that there was
Yeah.
another one called Pony Life that was supposed to be coming out. Or you
Oh, I
mentioned
don't.
Pony Life, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, you had mentioned it, and I was like, oh no, oh no, because I just the animation is so weird. I don't know. I'm so used to the I guess just the friendship is magic like animation. I'm like, oh, this just looks delightful, and I don't know. Just the pony life one just looks a little weird. Um, it doesn't hit the same as Friendship with Magic does. It has the same characters, like as far as I can see from the trailer,
The
but
art style's weird.
it's really weird. I can't. It almost reminds me of like Powerpuff Girls looking, almost like just the
Yeah.
little itty bitty like
It
I
just
don't know.
doesn't make sense. And
No.
if you go into the official like YouTube channel for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, or just like the My Little Pony in general, the
Mhm.
most recent episodes to like highlight the, pony life just doesn't have the views that the original episodes did. So it kind of
No.
shows you that it's just not gaining the same traction. I think they tried to like jump on something. They tried to write the coattails, but the coattails just you can't really copy and
Right.
then change the art style. It's kind of weird. I
Yeah, it's
don't
kind of
get
like
that.
here, hey, can I copy your homework? It's like, yeah, but make sure you make it somewhat original. It's like, oh, okay, here it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
is. What about
um, it's,
Equestria Girls? Did you do anything on that?
no,
No,
I did
I
watch
thought it was
Equestria
cool.
Girls, the movie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
there's
that was
2 or 3 movies now. There's
that's
3, I think.
cool. It's like the human version of the ponies.
But it was weird, but I actually really liked it, and the songs were really catchy.
Yeah, I will say the Equestria Girls were pretty good. I like those ones.
I like them too. I just
So-
sometimes I think about the one song where they're stomping around in the cafeteria, and I'm just like, hey, hey, everybody, and I'm like, yes, and I'm just doing my dishes or something. My sister's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm, I'll just start singing it. She's
Singing.
like, okay.
As far as dedicated conventions go, there are a lot. To name a few, there's BronyCon, which is held in New York, Everfree Northwest, which is Seattle, Washington, Midwestria, which is in Chicago, Illinois.
Midwest Rio. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
I thought that was a little weird too. I'm like, oh, is that a Midwest Fair? Oh, it's Midwest Free. Okay, that's
not Midwest Fur Fest,
dude.
Midwestria.
I bet. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was held in the same hotel. That would be crazy.
Oh, it might actually.
And then the last one is Canterlot Gardens in Cleveland, Ohio. But there's just
I
tons of them out there.
I went to one that was in Columbus, and I went with my brother because he got me into it. He got me
Yeah,
into
of course
everything.
he did because he's a guy.
He, he listen. One day he's like, "Listen, you have to watch this," and I'm like, "My Little Pony, what?" And he's like, "No, no, no, trust me." And I'm like, "Okay." And I watched it. I'm like, "Oh wow, this is really good. Like this slaps." And at a very, very young age, he's like, "Hey, hey, I'm a
Hey,
furry." I'm like, "What is that?" he's like, "That means this is my character." And he's like, "I'm a caribou." And I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go make one now." That's what
ah,
it was. That's how it happened.
nice. I
So
have a pony Sona, and I had
you
actually.
do?
I do. It's probably on my one of my older
Oh.
computer's hard
Now, are
drive.
you a unicorn, Pegasus, or are you an Earth pony?
I believe I have a horn. and I fly. But
So
they all
you're a
fly, don't they?
so you're no. No.
No, yeah. So
So you were an alicorn, which is it's just a unicorn with wings. But
he's kind of like oh my god, what was he called? I named him a combination of Dash Ketchum. That's what his name was.
Dash
Yeah, and he had the same colors as Ash Ketchum.
I love it. I had a
And
pony so bad.
I went to like a little con, and they were making like on the spot like little plushies, and so I got one that was made of my little thing called Dash Ketchum, and it was this tiniest little. It's just like two pieces of felt, kind of like
Oh,
sewn
what?
together with foam and everything. And I'm like, this is so cool. But
Oh, I gotta see it. That's
I
cute.
don't know what happened to it. But
Oh.
that was a cool one.
Oh my god, I
Um,
just remembered. Oh. um, you're mentioning like little like My Little Pony like
yeah,
plushies and stuff.
yeah.
I kid you not, for my 18th birthday, I had a My Little Pony party. It was at my grandma's house.
Wow.
I had a rainbow cake made by my brother.
How many people showed up?
Listen, it was just my family and like a couple of my friends, and then my boyfriend at the time that we don't talk about because he's a
Mm,
butthole. It was my first boyfriend, not the second one that I dated forever, but no, it was my first boyfriend in high school. And I had no idea. It was actually my first surprise party, my 18th birthday, and it was My Little Pony. So when I went into my grandma's house and everybody's like, surprise, I was like, oh my god, ponies!
wow.
And his entire reaction was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, and it was the best day. It's actually when I got my dinosaur laptop. So
Wow.
yeah.
So yeah. Um,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. The age range and gender breakdown it's kind of pretty obvious. About 65% of them are, well, majority of the fans are between ages of 15 and 30, with the average age being 19 and 20, and over 65% of them are heterosexual, which doesn't surprise me. Um, but what was really interesting is the ages of 19 and 20 averaged had a pursuing college degree or in higher education. So
Oh,
that's
that's
interesting.
interesting.
Hmm. But that's the Brony fandom. So
That's the Brony Phantom.
you get the. I gave you the crazy one, the Sonic one.
Oh my god. I do you know the way?
It's so racist. I'm sorry,
I
but it's so funny. It's like the funniest thing to come out of that whole thing.
I we must find a queen. Do you know the way? God.
The music video was so great.
I found that one day and it was my jam for like a week for no reason. And my mom, she was like, "What are you listening to?" And I straight up just spun around and looked at her dead in the eye and just went, "Do you know the way?" And she was just like, "I
What?
don't." I'm like, "Okay."
Let's take it away.
You take it away.
Take it away. I'm gonna look up Uganda knuckle memes
You
while
got
you're
to.
talking.
Oh my gosh. This this fandom, I'm going to say it right now, is a little crazy. That's not necessarily a bad thing,
That's
but
an understatement.
it's it's a little damn it, space.
It really is like
I can't-
if we didn't mention the Sonic fandom, people would be pissed.
They would be so upset. Why didn't you include Sonic? Oh my god. Oh
Remember how I said
my
that there's a few fandoms out there that are really sensitive? This is the
yes.
other one.
The, and you are so right. This fandom is
Mm.
incredibly
They're
sensitive.
probably more crazier than the telephone fans.
Oh my god, mm, I love Telephone, but oh my
So
god,
do
all of
I.
her entire fandom, like she has her
Freaking
own
army,
fandom.
man.
She
She
has
has
her own
plushies now.
fandom.
She's her own plushies now. Did you hear about that?
I know, I need to get one, they're so cute, but, like, I'm gonna wait until, like, the mass crazies, like, get them all, and then I'll get them, like, next year.
Yeah, like you go to the DI and you see like a telephone like plushie, and you're like, mine,
Mine!
Goodwill.
Oh my god. We
Oh my
can't.
god, that would just be amazing.
Oh my god, I'll just be at a flea market, I just see a little telephone just sitting there on, like a table somewhere.
Telephone.
It's just random, just, but she'll be with the other, like, vintage telephones, you know,
Oh my god.
and, like, old cellular devices. Anyway, this isn't Sonic.
No, no, it's not Sonic at all.
That's okay. We're not talking about Sonic the restaurant, by the way, you know?
It's good stuff though.
It's good stuff. I was saying
When I
fun.
type in telephone plushie, a legitimate like like plushie of a cell phone pulls up.
Oh my god.
It's called a Jellycat Wiggity phone.
Wiggity phone.
I kid you not.
That's so funny. Okay. Oh, the Sonic fans are yelling at us, I know it. In the future. They're like, "Get on with it!"
God.
Okay. God! Okay, so first, I guess let's start off with a little bit of, like, Sonic history. So, Sonic started off as a video game in 1991. Sonic was actually developed to be a competitor for Nintendo's Mario, not Mario, or however you said it. Is that how you said it earlier? Mario?
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah.
So Sonic was was made for. Sorry, we can pickle that little chunk out there, but that's.
Hell no, I'm keeping it.
Oh no. Okay. Anywho, so in 1991, Sonic came out with the Sega Genesis. He was like I said, he was a requested mascot for, to compete with Nintendo's Mario, and eventually Sonic kind of kicked off and became really popular and kind of kicked off with its own TV show, I think in 1993, and had several other spin-offs throughout the years, and obviously several different games throughout the years as well. There's a lot of this is the problem with the fandom. There's a lot of die-hard purists, and they hate like a bunch of the newer stuff that came out, like that are not like the original 90s games. They hate
Mhm.
that he has green eyes. They hate that they elongated his, legs and like changed his outfit a little bit. Like they're like, that's not Sonic. And I'm like, y'all need to chill. It's okay. Um
Just a cartoon. It's just a game.
Jessica, it's calm down, right? Actually, here is a question for you. This is something that I learned. This is the interesting thing that I learned because for years I thought I was like in the right and something like everybody else was wrong, but apparently I was wrong. Anyway, so here's my question for you. Sonic's arch nemesis. What do you call him?
Oh, is it the Wicked, like the Whiskers guys? Like Dr. Eggman?
Okay, so you called him Dr. Eggman. Okay.
Yeah. Is that what he's called?
Yes and no. I say yes and no because for years I knew him as Dr. Robotnik. Dr.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
Dr.
that's what
Ivo
he's actually
Robotnik.
called. Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, yes and no. So what happened was when Sonic debuted in like Japan and everything, he was known as Dr. Eggman, and that was it. Okay, that was back in 1991. And then when Sonic became like westernized, and they did not like Dr. Eggman, so they changed his name to Dr. Ivo Robotnik, and then it stuck. Like
Huh.
they like without Japan's like consent, like whatever, they were just like, nope, we want this to be Dr. Robotnik because it sounds cooler. And that's what he was known as for the majority of like the 90s. And eventually, as the games like went on, they would have like Sonic like refer to him as like Eggman or Egghead. And then eventually, like in later games and later shows, they sneakily put in there, they're like, nope, his name is Eggman. And I, like, as a child growing up and knowing him like in the US as Dr. Robotnik, I was so triggered. I was like, no, his name is Dr. Robotnik, not freaking Eggman. That's just stupid. But now I read it, I'm like, oh, I've been wrong this entire time. I'm like, it's okay. It's fine. So, like, I've never been that big into Sonic. Like, I never made my own OC or anything. I played the original games and maybe like other ones here and there. Like, if I went over to like my cousin's house or something and they were playing Sonic, I would play it too. Like more 3D ones, not like the old 2D Sega ones. And that's it. Like, I haven't actually played it. I apparently need to watch Sonic Boom though, because there's so many like breaking of the fourth wall moments that I've seen in like clips on YouTube. It's hilarious. I'm like, this is quality content. I need to watch it apparently. So, uh, there's that. We all know that Sonic the Hedgehog had its 2020 film debut on Valentine's Day. I haven't seen it yet, but it is on my Christmas list, so hooray, because I do want to see it. Um, that one had a bunch. That one had the entire world slash fan base explode because of the screw up that they had, like way Sonic looked in the beginning.
Oh my god, it was
That's
awful.
terrible.
Oh,
God,
I mean, like,
I,
I just who
nightmare
who
fuel.
signed off on that and said that was okay? Like, even a
I
child would have
don't
ran away
know.
from that thing.
I don't know. I mean, personally, at that point in time, had they released it as is, like I would have seen it just for the meme like reference. But oh my god, it was awful. I'm like, that's not it. But
I think
thankfully for the
I think
fandom, it changed it. But
yeah, I think for the first time in like actual history, a movie company actually took back the release and decided to redo it over again because of how
mhm.
fudged up it is.
Oh, it was
So,
terrible. There was a lot of conspiracy though that it was like planned all along. Like they planned it that way and they knew like like maybe they really just wanted to trigger all the Sonic fans.
my God, that would be
Like,
amazing if that was the case.
like, like could you imagine they're like, we know how sensitive the Sonic fans are, so we're gonna do this and it's gonna trigger everybody. I'm like, oh god. Yeah, there's a
Oh my
bunch of videos
God.
on YouTube. It's just everywhere.
But I just don't
Oh,
see like why would you want to like you purposely piss them off, then you say you're going to pull it back and redo it and spend more money than what you're actually going to make on the movie doesn't make sense.
I mean, unless this is the conspiracy theory here is unless they already had it, like they had the crappy Sonic first, like and but they already had like the good real Sonic like already made, and they actually didn't spend like a couple other $1 million. Like they just had it all, like I said, this
Maybe.
was all, like maybe it was all pre-planned, so then they just kind of waited like a couple months and was just like, let's actually put it into the film now, or I don't know, maybe they just already had it in there. It was just a big joke.
Let's see. They spent how much money did they spend making that movie?
I don't know.
I just saw it here. It was like 85 million was their budget. I want to know how much it made. Okay, so it made enough to cover its tracks, but it literally was a really expensive movie. So it grossed
Hmm.
146.1 million in the United States and 162 million in other states, or other countries. So yeah, but still, I mean, I don't know. As a company, as like a company myself, like I don't know if I would want to even tease the possibility of a shitty looking Sonic because then that tarnishes the look of my studio for future
That's
movies.
true, but I guess they did kind of reclaim themselves or whatever,
Yeah.
by making it right and actually listening to like the entire world saying no, this is not.
I mean, I watched the
Um,
movie and I wasn't like too impressed. I was just like, ugh. It just like for me, it felt like forced humor, and it didn't
okay,
really work very well for me. So I didn't like it. Felix liked it. I
okay.
did not.
Okay. See, I just
So,
have to watch
yeah,
it. Like I said, it's on my Christmas list. I haven't seen it, but that's okay.
damn.
Um, like I said, the community is fairly large. It definitely grew more in popularity in the last 15 years. Just because of like there's more shows, there's more games on there. But like I said, there's definitely like a split between like purist Sonic, fans and then like the newer fans where actually when the newer games and like newer characters and stuff were being introduced, a lot of the purists were, like I said, they were completely against it. But a lot of the younger audience that they were targeting anyway, they were like, yes, we want this, and that's why it kind of just stuck.
Hmm.
So yeah. um but it's definitely is really big in comic cons, and a lot of gaming conventions. There's still a lot of toys that are out there and definitely more games that are being produced, I think. So there is that. I think I have more in
I think we have a fan on Twitter that's a huge Sonic fan, and she has a fursuit that's like a Sonic looking
Oh, that's
hedgehog
cool.
thing. Yeah.
That's neat. I don't
If
think
you
I
ever
would
hear
ever
the
make it.
term, if you ever heard the term "gay baby jail," it came
Gay
from
baby
her.
jail. Oh, did
It
it
was
really?
from BLFC, and we made a jail out of a box called "Gay Baby Jail." And I just started
Oh,
filming her,
how
and it was just
funny.
effing hilarious.
That's great. I need to watch her stuff then. That's funny.
It's pretty good. Um, Speaking of Comic Con, I had the wonderful task of taking on the cosplay fandom. I was gonna do like anime meets Comic Con, but they pretty much are hand in hand, and so I just combined it, which is gonna be really interesting. The fact that I combined it into the cosplay fandom, and you'll understand why in a minute. Um, the fandom is based on everything. So we're talking like aspects of anime, cartoons, comic books, manga, television series, video games, movies, you name it, you've got it. It literally is based on everything. In fact, I would almost say that the furry fandom was born from the cosplay fandom because literally everything comes from it.
That,
Um,
that's true. Now that you bring it up, I
Interestingly
can see
enough,
it.
I didn't know this about cosplay until I was researching into it, but cosplay was coined in Japan in 1984 by a gentleman, or it could be a woman. So I do apologize because I don't know how to pronounce this and I don't know the actual like gender of this one. But it's Nobayuki Takahashi. I'm gonna assume it's a dude.
Gosh, I think it is a dude.
So it was incredibly popular amongst all genders and ages during that time period. However, this is the surprising part. Cosplaying did not originate in Japan. It originated
Wait,
in
what?
New York City. Yeah.
I'm actually shocked it
So,
didn't originate in Japan. Like, what?
get this. This is crazy. So, however, its origins come from Myrtle R. Douglas, or also popularly known as Morojo. So MRO or MR no sorry, Morojo, whereas I want to call it Morojo. Um,
More, I was gonna go Marojo Jojo, like Mojo Jojo from Pop Girl.
it's basically, but they're saying there's like Morogians and or Morojos, so like fans of Mora or Myrtle, whatever. But she created the first World Science Fiction Convention, also known as Worldcon, in New York City in 1939. And then, according to Wikipedia, Takahashi coined the term cosplay because the English term masquerade, which is kind of what was used during Myrtle's time, in Japanese translates to an aristocratic costume. And he didn't feel like that really captured the experience of Worldcon because he felt like that was just not the case at all. So what he did is he took a mashup of two words, two Japanese words. The first one being kosu, which means costume, and pure, which means play. And you put them together and you get cosplay.
That's
So,
so cool.
right? That's really cool. So, the origins of the cosplay fandom is crazy. I didn't know they went that far back. So, I was actually quite surprised. I'm like, it was a white chick? I thought it came from
It
Japan.
was so white.
What? So
I guess it is like a little surprising because, like, in that time period, I mean, I don't know, even still today, women are frowned upon. So,
I mean, if you think about cosplaying, like the most things I think of are women like cosplayed anime figures,
hmm
over highly sexualized and all that kind of stuff. That's what I think of. I don't think of guys and Halo costumes or whatever. I just think of the women really because that's primary kind of what it was at some point. Um,
like, come on, we just wanted to wear sexy battle armor. Like,
yeah, why not?
goodness.
I mean, geez, if people want to make up rumors that the fandom is sexually messed up, take your kid to a Comic Con convention and tell me how many bras and boobs he sees. Like
Take them
tons.
to an anime convention and watch real quickly how fast you find hentai, like, or
Yeah.
tentacle porn. Like,
Hello. Like out in the open. Come on. Like don't tell me that the fandom is messed up when you can go to Anime Con, you can find like a double
yes.
G, you know? Like
Oh my
ridiculous.
god.
Speaking of bigness, how big is the community? It's worldwide. So,
I thought you were still talking about boobs.
well, it's
Sorry.
I was like segueing off the boobs.
Okay, I thought
um,
about my girlfriend. I'm like, those are some big ones there.
some big boobs. There are some big boobies in the cosplay fandom.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead. I'm done
Um,
laughing.
no, you're not. I couldn't really judge how big the community was because it's worldwide, and there's just the numbers would be astronomical. I would almost say it's not anywhere near like the Brony standard where like millions, but we're talking like I'd say it's pretty big.
Mhm.
Um, are there dedicated conventions? Hell's yeah, there are tons of them. But I picked two the biggest ones. The second place one was San Diego's Comic Con, and for their 50th Comic Con convention in 2019, they had 135,000 people attend
That's a
their
lot of people.
convention. That's a lot of people. I'm from San Diego. I never went to the Comic Cons, but they were always huge in the weekends. Like it was just the whole city was just populated by them. Um, Salt Lake City came up with its own Comic Con too, and at one point in the last few years, it actually doubled the numbers of what San Diego Comic Cons was, and then San Diego Comic Con tried to sue Salt Lake Comic Con, but they lost because they wanted
Oh,
the name. So I'm like,
oh.
suck it. It makes sense though, because if you think about it, like Utah is kind of like in the middle of everything. And so it's easier to travel to Utah from whatever state you are than it is to travel from one side of the country all the way to the other side of the country.
Right.
Plus, you get like a lot of nerds, I think, more towards the middle. Like in Utah, at least it's like one giant nerd state, no joke. We've got gaming companies here, tech companies. We're known as the Silicon Slopes, basically. So I don't think anyone else has something cool like that.
Neato.
Um, Neato, yeah. But the world's biggest convention is called the Anime Expo, also known as AX, which drew in a whopping 350,000 attendees in 2019. That's almost double the.
That's a
No,
lot.
it's that's three times more than what San Diego's was. I did the math on this. I couldn't find an exact price on the 2019 ticket price, so it ranged anywhere between $80 to $85 for a 4-day badge. If you take the 350,000 attendees times the 85, they have a minimum, okay, because there were different tiers, a minimum approximate profit of $29,750,000 in a weekend alone.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Assuming that
that's a
all
lot.
350,000 bought that $85 badge. Now, there are different tiers because there's different levels of
Mhm.
things you can do. So that number probably is much higher than that.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
that's a big thing. And so because they have that, that's something the city probably wants to keep because it makes a lot of money. Like, for instance, Anthrocon, I think, makes a couple $100 million in just a 3-day weekend for the city. And that's huge. That's huge for like
Oh
local
yeah.
businesses. Yeah. So yeah, you want to definitely keep a con like that. You wouldn't want to get rid of it.
Mhm.
So,
The people of Pittsburgh love the furries, by the way.
oh, yeah. It is like they love them. So
They
does
do.
Midwest Fur Fest. I went once, and all the staff had like cat ears or dog ears or whatever. It was really fun because they really got into it.
That's
So
cool.
it's really cool. It really was.
I
Um,
kind of wonder if there's that one person that's like, it's their first time working in a hotel and they like say they've never heard of furries or whatever, and then that one weekend just all of a sudden just there's a bunch of things, and they're like maybe they're this shy like laid
maybe
back
there's
like
like,
person, and then all of a sudden they're like, I want to make a persona, and they're just life is just changed.
oh, I was just gonna be like, they'll be like, I didn't sign up for this shit, and they quit.
I was being nice about it. I'm like, man, this is cool. They just
What
like,
is this?
nope.
I'm out.
Just sees a giant, like, dog fursuit just come running at him. He's like, nope, I'm done.
Just
See ya.
just imagine like a person coming up to like the concierge desk and going meow, and I'd just be like, I'm done.
Meow. Yeah.
I'm out.
Or they're a squeaker fur and they're just squeaking at you, and I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
That'll be $500. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. $500.
That'll be $500 plus I need your incidentals, that'll
Pull me
be,
out of my pouch. Pull it out of my pouch. Just they're pointing to like a pouch and like their
oh
first.
my
Like I'm not
god,
reaching.
they're a
I'm not
kangaroo and
reaching
they're
in
like,
there. I'm not gonna reach
no.
in there. No.
Especially if they have like shorts on or something. I am not reaching in. No.
Ew. It feels like a nurse suit for like a sticky surprise. It's like you reach in, you pull your head out, it's like all sweaty. It's like, ah, what, what is this? Oh, sorry, you made me excited. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god,
So many people are gonna hate me right now for that.
I had somebody on my Twitter get on my case because they're like, ew, fursuiting is gross. And I'm like, listen.
It's the person inside the suit that's gross, not the fursuit. Because
You're
it's like, okay, so like I finally have a fursuit. It's a
right.
partial, but man, when I put that head on, it's balls hot in there. It's
Yes, I
so
have a
effing
partial
hot.
too. It is
Oh,
extremely hot. Oh my god. Like
so hot.
how do people fuck in that? I'm sorry. Like
Like,
how?
okay, I give it to those who out there who just can like fursuit for hours because I can barely
Mhm.
fursuit for 10 minutes without being like
I
just
completely
overwhelmed
understand.
with so much hotness. And I had a friend ask me, he's like, "You gonna get a full suit?" And I'm like, "Have you seen this body? I have a 330-pound body. You think I want to wear a full suit? I ain't
I
Santa
mean,
Claus, God. Like,
you
jeez.
might sweat all that weight off. There you go.
Yeah, I might, and that'd be gross too.
It would be
Ugh.
gross. Could you imagine like how disgusting your fursuit would be?
Ew, you'd like open it up and it's just like wafts like the stink at you, and you're like,
Ew.
gotta do this for 5 hours, damn it.
This just goes to show you, please wash your fursuits.
Yes. But
Please
don't
make God,
but but don't pull a telephone and put it in the dryer and then have it melt on you.
no, do not do that.
Did you
Don't
ever
do
hear about
that.
that? One of
I
our
um
one of our
I
episodes?
I think so. I think I did listen in on one of those ones, and it was somebody. I think it was telephones that melted.
She was late for an interview, and then she told us why. And like she came, she's like, "I'm sorry, I had an emergency because I left my fursuit in the dryer and it started to melt." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a real emergency. By all means, you can be late all you want. Go for it."
Yeah,
So
that's awful. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah, always hang them up to dry. Please but please wash them. Please ask your fursuit
you can use a
maker.
hair
Uh,
dryer, but don't get too
yes,
close to the fur.
use it on the low setting, the cool setting. Put
Yeah,
it in front of a fan. Make sure you brush your fursuit afterward, please.
Febreze it if needs be.
Yes,
That fun stuff.
Febreze it. Stick a couple.
I kind of wonder if dry shampoo would actually work. Like the hairspray.
Yeah, I don't. I see it.
Because
No,
aren't you
because
supposed to like spray it in, and then you're supposed to brush it out, right? Is that how it works?
well, dry shampoo. I'll be honest with you. I had to actually use dry shampoo in the very early stages of of my recovery with my surgery and everything. So I could I literally could not bathe myself, so I had to have like my mom and my sister help me like sponge bathe, and like
Ew.
I couldn't like wash my hair like as much as I wanted to, so I would use the dry shampoo. It actually does not wash your hair; it just pulls the oils out and just kind of makes it appear clean. So your hair's not really clean; it just looks clean.
So it's like
Cause
washing the car. It's shit on the outside, but it's still shitty on the inside.
yeah. But like seriously, I did. I could not bathe myself. Like it sucked because I couldn't move my entire leg. I couldn't bathe myself. I had to have help to go to the bathroom. It was just a whole fiasco. like
God.
like I'll never forget because I was constipated for like a week, and then finally I'm like, I need to go, and I am so sorry. So it was bad. On top of that, it was just excruciatingly painful. So
Yeah.
it was rough, but I'm doing really well now. So
She's shown me her scars. They're
I
gross,
guess they're not that gross.
but they're healing. They're healing. No, they actually look a lot better now.
Yes, yes, they
You
do.
put
It
shea butter on it.
feels. I do have like coconut butter like stuff, like cocoa butter, like whatever stuff that I
Do
kind
you
of
put that on it?
yeah, of course.
Supposedly, cocoa butter is supposed to help with like stretch marks and like scars, but I've never seen the actual proof that it
Oh, I
actually
don't
works.
know. I mean, I use it, but I don't know. I like my I have two scars on my leg. I have one from when I was 12 because they tried to correct the problem and it didn't work. And then I have my nice new like 6 to 7 inch long one. So my scar is usually bigger than some penises.
Little loved. Oh wow!
At least
I
that's what I've
didn't expect you to say that.
seen.
Wow. All right then.
I can
End of
confidently
show.
say when if somebody were to ask me, so how big is it? I'm like 7 inches long, bitch. I mean,
That's about the
like
average.
that's about
Yeah.
the average. And actually 6 and 7, it's about the average. Such a weird topic to end on.
There's no way that's the average size.
Yeah, yeah, about like 5 to 6 inches is actually the average size of a penis.
In what country? There's no
I
way.
I
There's
don't
no
know.
way.
There's no sorry.
Maybe centimeters.
Oh, no.
Probably true. I'm thinking like a ruler, and I'm like, there's just
I like five,
okay.
like
Yeah, I can
five
see
to
that.
six.
I can see
Yeah, it's
that.
about the average size, like when it's fully hard to. I can't. I don't
This show went from PG to rated R
I'm
like
so
within
sorry.
seconds.
We're like surgery, and then I was just like, my scar is long,
The
guys.
average size of a penis. Um. Anyways, back to cosplay. Average age, all ages. There you go. That's really it.
Apparently not this show though.
Yeah, not. It's just all ages, all different types of people do it. You can make money off of it. Lots of different things. But yeah, that's the cosplay fandom.
Yep.
Not the last 10 minutes, but like before that. Um,
We just have to
we
go off on a tangent. It's fine.
so each of the fandoms has like their own thing. But I think what makes our fandom so special is we kind of notice in each of these fandoms, people are fans of a culture of something that already exists, and that allows them to be fans of that existence. But the furry fandom exists on its own kind of like realm in a way that we are fans of our own characters that we've come up with ourselves. And then we become fans of other people's characters. And so to us, our fandom is truly special and original, other than these other four, because these other four are set. They're already there. People are making things that exist already of it. They're creating costumes of that character. But here in our fandom, we create, costumes of our characters and plushies, and it's just everything's 100%. I wouldn't say it's like 100% original, but everything's inspired off of something that's original in that person's brain. And I think that's what makes our fandom, I think, better than all the other ones. But we
I
do
agree.
have connections with all the fandoms because they all kind of connect in a weird way.
We are the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, we pretty much are. Some honorable mentions to the fandoms that we didn't mention. Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Doctor Who. I know that's a huge one, but I just don't care right now. Um, Harry Potter. Harry Potter, I think, is like on the top, like number one of like every fandom list that I went to. Um, Star Trek and Star Wars, and then the VR community as well. And if I missed one that you're super sensitive about, you can write me about it, but I'm just not going to care.
Oh, space.
I, I'm
It's
sorry. I'll
okay.
care.
I'll
I'll
care a
care.
little bit.
If you like this show, let us know. Email us at talktothemuzzle@gmail.com. We get emails to myself and Bean, and I'd like to see some emails coming into Star as well, because you're younger than us, a little bit younger, and you have like a different. Every
I am
host has
baby.
their own personality and their own like thing, so it's always really cool. So each host reached out to a different person, so it'd be really nice to kind of see
Crazy,
people
man.
right into you. I'm sure they will, like as they hear you more and more on like episodes coming. I'm
Love
sure it'll
me.
come through. Yeah, love her. God.
Do your
Um,
money way. Send me
but
email.
yeah. Do you have anything before we let go?
Oh no!
She literally dropped out.
Do we lose each other?
Hold on a second.
Shit!
Gosh, she left me
Oh
hanging.
no!
Rude. There you are.
What
You like
happened?
dropped out for a second.
Oh, thank
I'm
God!
like, do you want to say anything before we leave? And then you literally just dropped out at that moment. I'm
I
like, wow, she
so
literally left me hanging.
no, I did not. I was making a Ugandan joke, and all of a sudden it went quiet. I'm like, oh shit! Did I mess up?
No. Cool. Before we let go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot today.
Anyways, folks, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.